So it was just prior to, or during the latter part of World War I, 1915, 16, something like that.
And he must have stayed in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
He must have stayed in Texas.
Yeah.
Cornus.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then they stayed there. Golly, they moved to the Panhandle. Probably 1925, 26, maybe a little later, but sometime between 25 and 30. They got to the Panhandle in order to get right in the middle of the Depression and the Dust Bowl. And because I remember coming to Gooseneck, the family reunion, and Granddad had, I don't know whether they had sold the property there in their portion of the property there in, around Graham or what, but he had bought him a brand new automobile, a Terraplane, and had run off the road coming back and had run into a barbed wire fence, and it had just cut. The headlights were on top of the fenders then, and it cut off, almost cut off.
You think that was during the Depression?
Yeah, it was just before the Depression, just before the Depression. And then the next time we had a reunion there, I must have been 6 or 8, because it was before we moved up with Bull. Anyway, I went to Dalhart with him, with him on the bus. We got the bus from Graham, and he and I rode the bus all the way to
You and your
Dalhart.
granddad?
Yeah, me and my granddad. And the bus was really crowded. And so there was only 2 seats, and mine was in front and he was in the back. And I can remember, oh gosh, at least a dozen times turning around to make sure he was still there, particularly after we'd move out of stop. And he would grin at me, nod his head, and that was it. And during that time, somebody got real sick. And Mom went to stay with them. And so Donnie, somebody brought him to Texland, to where Grandmother and Grandpa, he had a dairy. That he
Donnie?
Huh?
Donnie?
My youngest brother.
Okay.
And so Donnie and I were living with my grandparents in Texline for about 3 or 4 months, while Mom was trying to take care of Charles. Charles was a baby, and also somebody in the family was real sick.
Was she back in Graham, or was she?
Yeah, she was somewhere in that area. And I don't remember. I just barely remember the details. But I have a picture of Donnie and I that was taken in Texline, and he was probably 2 years old, and I was maybe 8 or so. Well, let's see. He was 6, so I'd have been 9. Yes, he's 7 years old. He was 7 years old.